Wow, good evening, everybody. This must be the first session we've ever done where by the time it counts down to 30 seconds, there's already 1,000 people online. So it shows just how important it is. My name's Chris Webb. I'm the head of communications at the CW. We're here for a vital session tonight for our Openreach BT and EE members. I'm delighted to be joined by our Vice President, Karen Rose, and also our Deputy General Secretary for Telecoms and Financial Services members, Andy Kerr. Good evening to both of you.
Good evening.
So whilst everyone's still filing in and still joining us, so to build up so the audience is as big as possible for when Karen and Andy deliver their messages, just a few housekeeping things and a few favours if we can. We'd like you to like the post, to comment, to let us know how long you've been a member of the CW. Let us know where you work from and we'll share some of those on screen in the coming moments. We also want you to tag your colleagues at work in this post, because even if they can't watch it with you live right now, they can watch it on catch up as well. And that's fantastic. We've just ticked past 2,000 people watching the session in just a minute into it, which is absolutely fantastic. And I'm sure gives us a sense of the feeling that is out there on this issue of pay. Tonight is not a Q&A session. We're going to have lots of those in the coming weeks as we embark on the campaign that we're going to embark on, that Karen and Andy are going to talk about. This is a very simple session where there's a very simple set of messages to be delivered by senior officials in the union. So what we need you to do from tonight's session is very simply take the messages you hear tonight back into the workplaces and make sure that you help us deliver what this union and what we need you to do as members in the coming weeks. So your job, first of all, is to get sharing this session for us. Whilst you all do that, I'm going to hand over to Karen to open the session. So over to you, Karen.
Thank you, Chris, and good evening, everybody. And firstly, thank you all for joining us this evening. We never take your support for granted, and it is absolutely fantastic to see so many of you online. So this session, as Chris has already outlined, is not going to be a long one. What we need now is action, actually. And what we wanted to briefly set out was the next steps in our fight for a decent pay rise. So many of you, I'm sure, that have been in the union for a long time will acknowledge that your union has worked very successfully with BT Group for decades, and we have won some good pay deals and some groundbreaking agreements. But that has changed. And now we're seeing a profit-driven attitude from senior figures within the company, and this is manifesting in an attack on our pay. So the question is for all of us as members of this union is, what are we going to do about it and when? And the answer to the first part of the question is very easy and crystal clear. We have to ballot for industrial action, and we will. And the second part is also clear. Next week, your elected executive will take an emergency motion to the CW annual conference, where we will set out the exact ballot timetable. And we expect the representatives from the branches all across the country to vote overwhelmingly in favour of this emergency motion. And once the vote is cast and we have the results, we will let you know what that result is. And then the campaign to deliver a massive yes vote will be at full pace. So I know many of you will have other questions, which we will be answering in the coming weeks through some of our home mailings, through social media, through videos, text messages, emails, because we're going to embark on the strongest possible communications plan to win this ballot. And your job now is to truly become the union, because I'm not the union. The General Secretary is not the union. Andy Kerr, our Deputy General Secretary, is not the union. The union is every single member. So it's the job of every individual member now of this union to get out there and convince all of your colleagues to vote in this ballot and to vote yes. We will be addressing you next week from Bournemouth after the vote at our CW conference, but be under no illusions. This is for real, and BT and Openreach and EE need to know where you stand, and that you stand shoulder to shoulder with the union. So thank you for showing your support this evening, and I'll see you next week.
Thank you, Karen. That's fantastic. Also, to let you both know before I bring Andy in, that we've got 4,500 people watching the session now across all of our platforms. So that's brilliant, and we'll build on that. And we know as the ballot papers get ready to go out and as the ballot takes place, we're going to have that well into the tens of thousands, because we know how loyal our membership is. Just before we bring Andy in to comment and to support what Karen said there, you can help us as well, because as we always know on these sessions, there will be no doubt eyes from the employer on the session, interesting to find out what the union is saying. So we don't want you to get in trouble. We don't want you to say anything that is going to get you in trouble. But what we would like you to do is, if you do back the union, and when those ballot papers do come to your home address, because the ballot, to remind you, will be done via post. If you are backing your union, please put in the comments now simply, "I'm voting yes," and we'll share as many of those as we possibly can. So in the comments right now, "I'm voting yes." Over to you, Andy.
Oh, thanks, Chris. and thanks everyone for coming on to call. 4,500 people just in a few minutes coming on to this call is absolutely fantastic. And I know that many of you will be long-standing members of the CWU for many, many years. And I noticed one guy, Matt Evans, who only joined the union 4 weeks ago. Well, welcome, Matt. Welcome to the CW family. Look, we haven't taken this decision lightly by any stretch of the imagination. We have sat over the last few months speaking to BT, trying to get to an agreed settlement. It's not been anything to do with the intransigence of the union. The issue has been, and why it's taken so long, is the BT haven't been in a position really to give us an offer until recently, which falls far short of where we want to be. And we can have that discussion. We are going to have the discussion, as Karen just said to you, next week at our conference, looking for our branches. And I've no doubt it will be unanimous, supporting the executive, supporting our actions, endorsing what we have done, rejecting that £1,500 pay offer, and rejecting absolutely, totally the imposition of this pay deal without our agreement, which is a major, major issue and something we need to certainly oppose, because this is the start of an era, we believe, where if BT get away with this imposition, they will impose many other things. So we are about to embark on a campaign. It hasn't started yet. As they say, you ain't seen nothing yet. And I can assure you of that over the next few weeks. We are quite clear in the CWU that you deserve more. Our members deserve more than this. They deserve to be treated much better than have been done by BT over the last few years, especially in the last 2 years. You, our members, have put yourselves in the line every day of this pandemic, whether it's been as engineers in the field, whether it's been in contact centres, or having to work from home when sometimes that isn't even the best place for you to be. You've put yourself in the line for this company, and this company is still making large profits. And it really sticks to my craw that when I hear Philip Jansen and others, the CEO of the company, saying to you all that it's an issue about affordability and this is all they can afford. Well, I'll tell you this quite clearly. They can afford lots more than this. This company is very profitable. It's still making real profits out of this country over the last few years, and will do, and make bigger profits in the years to come. And we think you deserve a fair share in that. They have, the shareholders are getting their piece. Everybody is taking a hit at the moment, whether it's because inflation rises, whether it's because of the cost of living crisis, which I don't believe is actually started to hit some of our members, some of you yourselves, or even myself, until the next 2 or 3 months. So we are quite clear about this. We have had enough of the company trying to impose things, trying to put in forward pay deals that are not agreed with this union. And we are going to ballot all of our members. We do need to run 3 separate ballots. I'll just let you know that now. There will be a ballot in EE, a ballot in Openreach, and a ballot in BT PLC. And we do need to go over some hurdles because of the trade union legislation. But we are absolutely determined to do that. And what Chris said right at the beginning of this, you have all got your part to play in it. It's not down to me. It's not just down to the executive, although we have our role to play and we will play our role to the full. It's not even down to our branch officials, but they have a role to play. It's down to every single one of us. This is the time to stick together. This is the time to back your union, to come together as a collective. It's the only way BT will sit up and listen to us all. And it is unity is strength in this. And I'll be clear. You know, we want to win a big majority in this. The main thing is to get out there, tell your fellow work colleagues that they must vote in it. And one of the things you have to do is make sure your home address is right in our membership system. So please contact your branch and make sure that is the case. But we need to make sure that ballot goes out. We need to make sure you return that ballot paper. And obviously, over the next few weeks, we'll give you all the reasons why you should vote yes in this ballot. It is absolutely crucial for us. And something that Karen just finished off with. I don't want anybody to go off this call tonight or anybody in the next few days or weeks to think we are going to back off. We are not backing off. The CW are going into an industrial action ballot. The question is, when do we do it? And that's the question. We're working through the strategy for that over the next few days, and we'll be sharing that with our conference next week. But once we've done that, once we've got the agreement to it, we will let every member know exactly what the timetable is, exactly what we're planning to do. So thank you very, very much for coming onto this call tonight. It's very much appreciated taking your time to do it. But please, you know, when you do get that ballot paper, whenever that does come, please vote yes in the ballot. It is important that we make a massive return in this ballot and we show BT that this CW is not walking away from any one of our members. So thank you again very much.
Thank you, Andy. That's fantastic. And thank you also to everyone there for the I'm voting yes comments. There were literally hundreds and hundreds of them and we couldn't keep up. We tried to get as many up as we possibly could. So just to wrap up the session then, thank you to Andy. Also, thank you to Karen. But most of all, of course, as always, thank you to all of our reps and all of our members who have tuned in, have commented and who are watching. We went over the 5,000 mark across our YouTube, Twitter and Facebook page. And I think that's outstanding, you know, when at the stage of the campaign that we are, as Andy outlined down is addressed to you. So we have CW conference next week, which will agree. And then we will immediately publish the timetable for industrial action ballot, a national ballot across BT Group, EE, and Openreach. There's no fence to sit on for anyone in this dispute. There's no time for us to turn in on ourselves, and we must all become the union now. And it's, as Andy and Karen and I have said, it's the job of every single one of us to get the vote out in the coming weeks. So we're going to communicate with you more than we've ever done before in the coming weeks and months. And we're definitely 100% going to win this ballot. So good night, everyone. And please help us get the message out there.